Hello guys, how is it going? This is my first vlog video for this month. I aim to try and make vlogs more of a common thing on the page, but today there's a lot to cover. It's been an eventful week and I'm going to run through with you the main few things now. So the first one, the meet in Bridgewater at the weekend was pretty crazy. I'm going to do a little bit of video as part of this to explain what happened there. Secondly, I haven't had an issue with my suspension, which I've now kind of sorted, and I'm going to discuss the outcomes of that and also compare the different suspension setup I've got on the car now. So obviously one is gone, one is on there as temporary, and then the old ones will be going back on. So that's my second thing. And the third thing is going to be what happened to my window. So where do we start, guys, with this vlog? Let's start back on Sunday night at the Bridgewater meet and what actually happened. So in here, just a minute, I'm going to show you some footage of the tool officer, Captain Greyhair.
Well, one of my colleagues might see you and might decide to give you another ticket. Alright? If you're going to come to a car meet, don't have offences on that are obvious. Alright? Because I'll get that. Alright? Thank you, mate.
Tool officer, Captain Greyhair. Or whatever hair he has left, of course. But Captain Greyhair took it upon himself that evening to go around finding every single person he could possible for plates that were slightly out of order, which is debatable, let's say, and requesting everyone to take off their sun strips before they written them off and things like that. So whether you agree with it or not, it didn't really help the atmosphere of the evening. So we had the pre-meet and he was there and he found about 12 people. Obviously, he was getting an erection over doing that. He was really enjoying himself, bless him. You know, so that was at the pre-meet. We then went to the main meet where they followed us to, and he eventually caught up. And again, he was going around, you know, getting hard on over enjoying finding people. Not really dealing with any real crime as such, just going around nitpicking a minority of car enthusiasts for his own greater good. So yeah, he find an individual and a crowd gathered, as you do. People are upset and outraged that they've been caught, or, you know, they aren't happy with what's going on. So everyone came over, crowded around. This officer then went back in his car after finding the individual that was there, telling them if they left, magically if they left, they wouldn't be fined. But because they didn't leave and they stayed, they got done for their plate. So he's done that and gone to drive off. Now he's proceeded to drive his car through the crowd of people that are stood there. Not a great move, realistically. You know, police officers do lack common sense, this one especially, so decides to try and drive through a crowd of people which are already upset. And then to make matters worse, because those people stood very close in close proximity, he in fact ran over someone's foot. So obviously Officer Greyhair, or almost no hair, was faced with quite an upset crowd of people that were then stopping him from getting through because he's just run over someone's foot, understandably. So he's pressed code red, and then, you know, 5 million farm animals have turned up in cars and have threatened us to move on with fines and so forth, basically because an officer actually ran over someone's foot, which therefore upset the crowd, and he couldn't deal with it, understandably. I don't blame him. When you do such a job where you upset people on a daily basis, I wouldn't be doing that either. So that is what happened in Bridgewater on Sunday. I got some awesome footage. I was not impressed. I didn't want to speak to the police all night. I thought those tactics were quite dirty, and I didn't think they were particularly helping the relationship between the police and the car community whatsoever. So that is the end of that conversation. Not really impressed. When am I ever really impressed with the police at all, to be honest? And there's more to come. Time has come, guys, where exposing the police for what they're doing towards me and others needs to be brought forwards. So depending on how the case goes with my current circumstances, I will be making this stuff more public.
Hey! Some sort of terrorism wave.
here we are, guys. As you know, with me, we've reached the end of a week and I have not cleaned my car. The weather's actually been pretty fantastic all week, so the car is actually pretty clean. So this is my tinted window. Now obviously you'd imagine the other side of my window to be the same, but as we go around, it most certainly is not. Yes, can anyone guess, although those who may already know do know, but can anyone guess why my window has got nothing on it? So I've given you your 5 seconds. So at the Bridgewater meet on Sunday evening, I had the car extra filled because we had a lot of stuff we're carrying down for the meet. Now I had a speaker sat on top of my speaker because we've now got 3 speakers. And the speaker, when going around about, has slid across the top and has smashed the window right here. So the whole week I've had a window which has been held together by tint that's been slowly falling apart. So this is the replacement for that. This cost me £200 with VAT, which is actually very good. I managed to get it booked in on Wednesday. They came out this morning, and that was Avon Glass in Bristol. Thank you to Harvey for shouting out and getting me in contact with those guys to get it sorted. So I have got a lovely mint window, which is a start. I'm now off today this is a kind of like a spin-off of the video. I'm now going to be off down to a company which I'm going to be doing some footage for later on, who are going to tint this window. Again, they're doing it on a Friday evening. It was a last minute booking. I'm very, very thankful for them, so you'll be seeing these guys very soon when we head down there. But in the meantime, I'm going to stick on, well, 2 of the 3 stickers that were on this side window. So we're going to get the BCCM one back on, and of course we cannot forget the Viking Views. It's going to be back on here. My Karen's Worst Nightmare Insta tags haven't turned up yet, and when they do, they'll be going on. So let's get it done. So here we are then, guys. A classic BCCM Beyond City Car Meet sticker. With these, you want to make sure you put before you put them on. I mean, it's common sense anyway. Not that I have much common sense, but I have a bit. You want to press it down like so. So these are available to buy from us, guys, on our website or at the meets. If you are interested, please leave us a comment and we'll send you the details of how to get one of these. So let's get it on. So hopefully that's straight. It looks a bit straight from here anyway. On to the next one, guys. These guys, Viking Views. Please go and jump on their Instagram, YouTube to get involved. These guys are awesome, and we're going to be having a lot more content coming through with these guys soon. So what's happening, lads? This is going on. These ones are a hard one because there isn't really a set location to pull them off from. So we're just going to find a corner and we're going to send it. I say send it, but damn. It's always whenever you're on video that you can never get them off, and it's like an impenetrable sticker. At least you know, those guys know that Jordan and Dan at Viking Views have decent stickers. So guys, we're going to be heading down to Shogun Customs. I almost said Trojan then. Fuck! We're going down to Shogun Customs in Bristol. I was actually recommended to them again by Harvey. Once again, buddy, thank you for that. As well as Megan, who has a lovely yellow Colt, who's had her front windscreen done down there. So they do like cosmetic and performance modifications, window tinting, wrapping and so forth. So here they are on the old Insta. Just there. Go and give them a shout. We're going to head on down there now and go and get my one clear window sorted out. If you didn't know, one of my KW coilovers, the passenger side strut, has collapsed. It was leaking. I knew it was inevitable, but it did last week collapse pretty badly. Luckily, it dropped about 10 mil on that side. I was sat on the spring, so it was noisy and obviously wasn't handling very well, but it was still functional. So I went online and I bought a set of Max speeding rods, which are the most cruddiest like Japanese brand for just like cheap knockoff crap. But I had them on Lexus and they are crap. Nonce rods, pedo speed rods, whatever you want to call them, they are so bad. But anyway, I bought a full coilover kit, so I'm going to run through with you what's inside the coilover kit. And I'm going to talk about the installation, and then we're going to have a video of me driving, describing the difference between the coilovers. So if you didn't know, this set is £180 on eBay, brand new, the entire set, bargain. Is it really worth it? We'll soon find out. And the coilover set I have on the car is a V1 KW set, which is £950 new at retail. So it'll be good to see what the difference is with cheap coilovers versus expensive. So here we are, guys, Max speeding rods. Japanese cheapness at its finest. Welcome to the box, guys. So inside the box of these coilovers, you don't get a set of blown KW coilovers. These are just here, because I'm going to explain in a minute. So this is the one, as you can see, which has ruptured pretty badly and is compressed down. It won't move at all, so that is knackered. That one's knackered. This one's mint. Absolutely mint. So what I'm going to do is explain about what's happening with these in a minute. So obviously normally you'd have your coilovers in orange. They were quite longer than these, actually. They were probably about 5 centimeters longer than the KWs, so they sit probably, yeah, they're a little bit longer. So you get a set of rear shocks, rear springs, rear adjusters, and you get 2 spanners within this set for £180, which is actually pretty good. I like the orange, I like the colour of it, it's nice. So these are now fitted on my car, and these came off. So what's happening with these? I've contacted KW and I've asked them what's the best plan of action to deal with these. So I did ask about refurb costs versus new, but they have suggested I buy new. So the new shock and spindle wheel, which is this part and this part here, is going to be £220 plus £12 postage at this current time for this single unit. I'm obviously going to use the springs out of my existing coilover unit. I'll clean these up. I'm going to use these springs. I don't see why not. They're all right. I'm going to use these springs and reconfigure the new strut when it arrives. But they've offered me a very good deal where they'll do the 2 of them for £320, including VAT posted. So these are knackered anywhere where they've been hammered, look. So I'm actually going to be replacing these at the end of the month. Well, getting sent off. I'm going to send these off and get these sold. I'm going to sell them as a set of these refurbishing on the internet. So these are available. They are an awesome set of coilovers, insanely good coilovers. But they'll be for sale. All we need is a seal kit for this side. The other side is fine. So these can be sold, and then in their place I'm going to purchase a new set of coilovers and use the springs from the existing struts to make that all happen. So watch this space, because these will be back on, as in the brand new ones will be back on within a month's time. Now on to the video where we explain what it's like to daily drive with these speeding rod front struts versus the expensive KWs. So these Max speeding rods, these Japanese cruddy cheap ass coilovers, what are they like? So it's quite a good one for me because I've not gone from stock suspension. So I'm going to say one thing: if you're going from stock suspension to these coilovers, great. There are many positives, but that's about as far as I'm going to go in this sense, because I've gone from KW's V1 set, which is a non-GTI version 1 kit, which is 950 quid at retail. So going from that has made me realise that £180 coilovers, understandably, are not very good. So I'm going to give you a real world run through of what £180 coilovers are like compared to a decent set. So, if you can't tell, the first thing is the dampening is awful. I am like this in the car, I'm being thrown about. The problem with that is, if you want performance, with this car anyway, is that a lot of the time I'm going to bumps and I'm losing, my wheels are actually coming off the ground. I've got actually less grip, for one, I've noticed. Two, the comfort is not very good. I mean, it is. This is just the fronts, obviously, just the front coilover struts I'm using here. It is pretty bad. So that's the second thing. The third thing as well is these coilers have no adjustment whatsoever. Obviously up and down, but that's it. Whereas my KWs had camber adjustment, and you can change the different springs out for different spring rates as well. So these are definitely a downgrade from a decent set of coilovers, but in more important ways, for what they are, they're not too bad. So I will say, compared to my other coilovers, I would say mid-corner handling on stable corners, stable roads, roundabouts, stuff like that, the body roll, the stiffness and so forth is pretty good. So it's pretty similar to what I was used to on my setup. But that is about as close as they get. And as you can imagine, you know, you're looking at a coilover set that's worth 1/5 of the price of the coilovers that are on it. So there's obviously going to be downgrades with that. But overall, really uncomfortable. And performance-wise, they're okay, but literally they are shaking the entire car, and it is crap. And I don't know why it's taking me the way with all these speed bumps, but you know, it's another good way of testing these out. Oh. So yeah, my verdict on them: if you're going from stock, awesome. For performance, I obviously haven't really tried any other variants, but I would definitely recommend for performance looking at a more premium set of coilovers. But what do you expect? It's pretty bad. Other things to mention as well: the install and the build quality. Inside the install kit, it doesn't actually come with everything you need to fit them, which is rather interesting. I've had to actually rob another kit off of, or another part off of my old coilovers to make them fit. And also they are, compared to my other coilovers, they're longer, so they really are a struggle to make fit. So just be aware of that. They are quite long shocks. The ride height on them, I would say they've probably got 1/3 left. That squealing noise is my brakes, by the way. They've got 1/3 left on the shock, and the fitment I'll show you in a little bit is actually alright. But are they worth getting? 100%. If performance is your aim, I would save up and get better. But if you want lows, looks, and you know, a subtle improvement over the stock suspension, then without a doubt, 100% you should be getting these coilovers on your car. And that's what I have to say, really. If not, I would be recommending to look at the AP set, which is a mid-range set that sits around 500 quid. And if you are already feeling brave and you really want to see the difference that expensive coilovers can make, I would jump on and get a set of KWs. In a little bit, I'm going to show you what came within the package. I'm going to show you the package itself, and I will be running through with you guys about the score with my old coilovers, what's happening with those, and I'll show you the one that's burst because it is messy. So, see you in a minute. Now, I just want to mention a few other things. So, when you're up to speed with these coilovers, they actually become quite firm, and you don't get all of this kind of juddering action through the car. So, I will say that at higher speeds, it does calm itself down. So, these are definitely more tailored towards performance at a higher level of speed. When you're cruising, they are rather bouncy. So, those KW coilovers, they are really good. Really good. So, it's almost like, you know, with a brand like that and the money they've invested into it, they're taking time with that product, because you can instantaneously see that for starters, they are so comfortable. It is unbelievable. So you get the perfect balance of performance and comfort, whereas these are more aided towards performance on a budget cost. So that is the first thing you notice straight away, that it's well worth investing into a decent set of coilovers for that reason. That squeaky brake is so annoying. Really annoying. The second thing is build quality. So these coilovers on the car, I don't know what mileage they've done, but the coilovers that are on there are almost 8 or 9 years old. So I don't know about mileage, but you're 9 years old and only one of them is blown to seal, but it's not too bad. You can also see that when you take them off, the build quality between the products, as you can imagine, obviously, is not as good. And with the KWs, you get more adjustments as well, much more adjustment. So I would say realistically, if you are looking for performance to the highest level, you should not cheap out coilovers, because the thing is, this has had other modifications done to it as well, which have the stiffness. It's had body brushes done, it's had top mounts welded, so it's quite a stiff vehicle. And the chassis itself is only a small car, it is very stiff. Problem is, you're just losing out if you don't get a decent set of coilovers. So I have just summarised like I did earlier, and it hasn't really changed with the small amount of time I've used these. You get what you pay for, and I would highly recommend, once again, if you're looking for performance, you want to be going mid-range or more. We've got half a Viking now, look. Nice ringtone.
Is ideal for preventing the glass from being scratched when you're cutting around dot matrix, and it also gives you a guide for when you are cutting, to save hanging in the car with torches and things.
Yeah, especially when you've got a new window.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice and clean, yeah. So you can see these here.
It's quite flexible around the corners.
It's good. The attention to quality and detail is what's important.
Yeah, this just will prevent, you know, because you're cutting on the tape then, not straight onto the glass.
Yeah. And I can see that I've got my sticker somewhat straight as well.
Yeah, that's it.
There we go, guys, so all finished. Like always, you know me, very few brain cells. I've managed to not even put my sticker on the same place on either side, so I have to sort that out. But the most important thing is the tinted window is looking really good. Looks great. So this is Shogun Customs, guys. Yate-ish area. It's not actually Yate, it's just outside the Yate in Bristol. But we're going to be doing lots more videos with them soon. You'll get to meet the owner and get to know a bit more about him and what business he offers. And we're excited to see what work we can do joint with them in the future. So we're going to be doing a windscreen at some point, although my windscreen's got a big crack and needs replacing at some point, so I need to replace the windscreen first. But I'll be back here with the side windows and potentially the roof, and maybe the front lights, maybe the whole car. I mean, who knows? But I'll be back for more, and we're excited to see what it brings. So that is the end of the cracked window saga. Hopefully forever, because I don't really fancy having another one again anytime soon. So, my thoughts, guys. What a good experience. He's been doing it for a good few years now, 3 years. Very knowledgeable on what he's doing, takes great care and great pride in what he does. You know, he's doing it part-time along with a job. So he's starting in his back garden, in his, you know, garage, and wants to build it into something bigger, which is amazing. So I was thinking, do you know what? He's done good for me, so how can we do the same? So we've started a dialogue, and we're going to see what we can do in regards to supporting this guy and growing his business, but at the same time seeing what he can offer for me for video content as well, so it works both ways. So the relationship has started and it's built, and I'm excited to see what comes of it. But I definitely recommend to pop down to Trojan Customs, find them on Instagram, give them a message. I think they're only on Instagram, I think, as far as I'm aware, and go and get involved. The guy is super friendly, he gets you in very quickly, and you know what, I can't fault the price and the service that he has to offer. It is really, really good, and I'm impressed to see what else I can get done with it.